Scholar Podcast.
Let's talk jazz.
Let's talk jazz. Here we go.
Are you calling them like your squad from this point on?
I mean, like when it comes to like the Western Conference teams, it's not necessarily I'm rooting for them. Like I'm not like, oh damn, I hope the Jazz win tonight. But like they're good. They're really good, and you look at them and it's like, right now they're at 15-5. I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't think they've had any games canceled because of COVID.
Not as far as I know.
Yeah.
One Wizards game. I'm just looking at it now, but not because of them.
No, exactly.
God forbid Rudy for Gobert gets it again.
Oh, God, the first one. They're oh, brother, not again.
Shuts down the NBA for a second time.
Yeah. Now I have them. I had them at the beginning of the season at number 4. And like I said, last year, I'm pretty sure, I had them making the Western Conference Finals. This year, I also have them making the Western Conference Finals. But really, like, they're a solid team, and like at the beginning of the year, you know, you had Bogdanovic. He like really wasn't playing much.
He was injured, right? I don't think he was in the bubble.
Yeah, and he missed a lot of last season. And now was he? Wait, did he sign this last offseason, or am I tweaking?
No, he's been there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So like now he missed a lot of time. He's back. He missed a little bit at the beginning of the season, just still getting back to things. But I think like with a full team and like all those guys healthy, like you just paid Rudy, you just paid Donovan, like their confidence is up, like, you know what I mean? And
no like beef as far as we know.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a report for a while.
Yeah, they look good. They look happy, and I think the team actually like could, spark something like as time goes on. And right now they're sitting at 2. I think on let me pull up my stock talk, but I had them. I invested in them early on, right at the beginning, and so far, I mean, they're definitely, their price is up 2 wins. I believe, if I'm reading this right, they're up to 38 now, right?
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, no, I'm at the wrong one. They're up to 48 now, so they're up 6 wins.
Yeah.
About 5.5. Which is, I think, my biggest gain right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the most, like, overperforming teams right now. You'd have to go down, like, Spurs, Grizzlies are also at 5.5. Mm-hmm. Do you see them making any moves before the deadline?
See, that's what as I was talking right there, I look at it and it's like, they don't really have, like they have Royce O'Neal, they have Bogdanovic, but they don't really have like a solid 4. I mean, they have Favors. Even like when you look at point guard,
yeah, I mean, Mike Conley's been playing actually really well.
Yeah, he's playing well, and like Donovan takes up the ball too, but like off the bench, it's not like they have too many.
No, Jordan Clarkson obviously is like a 6th man of the year candidate. Yeah, might be the front runner right now, actually.
Honestly, and he's even like. You can even put him in the running for most improved at this point. He's playing super, super well.
Mm-hmm.
But once it comes... I mean, actually, now that we're saying it, like, they're fairly deep.
Yeah, they go like 8, and then there's like a drop-off once you get into like Georges Niang and Elijah Hughes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he's playing a lot. Niang, Jalen Brantley's coming on in, like, garbage time. I think, like, they need a...
They need some size, man.
Yeah.
Royce O'Neal's their starting power forward at 6'4".
Yeah, they're big. Their big guys aren't really too promising. Like, aside from Gobert and even Bogdanovic is playing like the 3 most of the time.
Yeah.
Which is, so they're, like you said, they're small. If they got like another power forward, no one like significant. Even somebody like a PJ Tucker is pretty small, right. But somebody like they had Tony Bradley last year.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Just
Ed
a
Davis,
big man. Yeah. So
Even like Hassan Whiteside, I think is really cheap right now. I don't know, like
yeah,
just gives you some
he
size.
signed a pretty. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I like them, and I think they could overperform people's expectations as
I'll
time
give you
continues this season.
one concern other than the size. I mean, they had like a historic shooting month in January from three. I don't know if they'll be able to maintain that. If it becomes like a crutch, it kind of can turn into, especially like a playoff series. That could be a problem if your guys aren't hitting shots. Um, and we saw, I mean, they blew the 3-1 lead with Denver already coming
Hmm.
off kind of blowing a playoff series. I'll be curious to see how they do this year. Seemingly, I mean, it's the same roster more or less. Um, we'll see. I didn't think anyone expected Mike Conley to play this well.
No, but like we talk about it, I mean, you take more than a year to settle in most of the time, and he's
Yeah,
he's a perfect example of that. Like he goes from he's been playing in Memphis his whole life, that grit and grind system where it's more
yeah.
like ruggedy
Even the
defensive. Not
Jazz,
it's
though, I feel like are kind of like that too. Where I
Yeah,
thought like
but
on paper would fit, but
they also play with a little bit of beauty. Rudy
yeah,
Gobert like is just like a
a little
defensive.
sauce.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a They don't really have much of a Julius Randle presence.
No, they're not as.
They
They could use a Julius Randle presence though.
Yeah, they're
That
not
would
as
be
rugged.
crazy. No, because I actually, when I was looking at Block Party trying to do, I was like shopping Mike Conley in my head, but he had
Hmm.
such a great January. Um, so these kind of sound crazy almost, but like I hypothetically, if you wanted to get some size or even upgrade, like I looked at trading him for like Westbrook. I think would become an interesting one because they're just like offensively. I
Yeah,
feel like they weren't great, and then they started hitting threes like ridiculous level. I mean, this is a team that like I could see. I mean, they can part with a couple first round picks. I feel like if they wanted to in a trade.
yeah, I'm seeing that like the Westbrook for Conley, Niang, a first round pick, and the Udoka kid.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I could see them making a move, but nothing significant.
No, I don't think they'd be shopping Conley right now.
Yeah,
But like, I don't know
and
who
if
you trade on this roster because everyone's playing so well. But maybe you sell high on one of them. I don't know.
or a first rounder or something for someone.
Yeah, you
Um,
could do that too.
they're yeah.
Because
I
they're
mean,
all old. Like realistically, this is besides Donovan. This is a pretty old team. Like most of these guys are late 20s, early 30s. So like their window's kind of shrinking.
yeah, but I really think they can win and they can put up a fight. Obviously, they blew the Nuggets series, but I don't know. I like them a lot. I think they're consistent. I mean, obviously right now they're consistent,
Yeah.
but you said they're shooting well. And Donovan, like he had a slow start to the season, and
Yeah,
they're
he's not been
still
playing that great, really.
similar to the Suns. They are
Yeah.
like kind of underperforming, but playing really well. But obviously, everybody else is stepping it up when Donovan isn't, and when Donovan steps up, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
working. Take
another
note,
team.
as they
an-
say.
Exactly, or stand by. Uh, another team is the Nuggets.
Yeah, they're hot
They
too.
started kind of slow. They started wicked slow. Jokic was like playing out of his mind, still is, and now in their last 10, they're 7-3, 12-8 on the season. So they went from under 500 to
Yeah, they're at 4 now.
yeah.
They slipped up because I
Um,
think they were at like 9 maybe a couple
let's
weeks
see
ago.
where I have them above the Jazz actually.
Yeah, I put them at 1. So
Okay,
you're gonna have to keep
one
this going
talk
for a while.
talk about it.
Well, I mean, I just thought that Lakers like LeBron. I did not expect LeBron to be playing every game, and
Yeah.
he's pretty much done that already.
Hmm.
They have. I mean, they dropped one of the Pistons the other day when AD was out, so I could still see the Lakers slowing down a little bit, and they already kind of have. I feel like. Um, Same with the Jazz if their shooting kind of goes a little bit. I mean, Clippers have been actually very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, they won a game without Kawhi or Paul George. So, I don't know if the Nuggets can actually get to that point, but I figured, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were both kind of top candidates for most improved. I don't think either of them is really in that conversation right now.
Michael Porter's not. He started at like high in the conversation. Then the whole like he missed
Yeah,
almost
he
like
missed a ton of time.
a half of a month, if not more, just because of COVID, like exposure and then actually testing positive.
Yeah,
Now he's back, and he lost his minutes. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you were dumb, played dumb games, and get dumb prizes.
I like that. You should tell him that
Okay.
actually, because now he's coming off the bench, which I don't know.
Yeah,
It kind of makes sense actually to some degree if he's the number one option on the second unit. I think like might as well start Barton and like Gary Harris, who actually just got recently hurt, but and then put Porter in and just see what he can do. Do like the Jordan Clarkson thing, that's kind of like instant offense and give you like 20 a game, and run like that
yeah,
second unit. Um, but I mean they're a good combination. I mean if Jokic is like almost triple double every night territory. He just had a career high, tied his career high 47 against the Jazz to kill
yeah,
their streak. I mean, is he your
yeah.
MVP right
He's a
now?
star. Um, a lot of people are talking LeBron, and like I guess I get why. Like but it's more like the idea of LeBron being his age and like doing his stuff.
Yeah,
But Jokic, I mean, it's impressive. It was between like LeBron, Giannis, Luca. But right
Embiid.
now, yeah,
I
you
think
gotta
Embiid
look
has
at
a
it.
lot of momentum too.
Yeah, you gotta look at it though, and Jokic is like consistent, out of his mind. Like, is making
Pretty
an
much like
argument for
his
best.
worst games are like 28, 12, and 7 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
He's playing like one of the best players in the NBA, and
somehow.
it'd be interesting to see like back to back foreign guys win the MVP.
It would be.
That would have to be the first time in history, right?
Probably. I mean,
Uh,
I don't even know.
unless actually maybe not, because
Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker back to back.
I was thinking Tim Duncan and Steve Nash.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
yeah,
Or like, did Dirk ever win one?
let's see. Dirk won in 2007. Oh
Yeah,
no, it says.
that
Oh
was
yeah, he did.
Finals
But that oh
MVP.
yeah, that was Dirk, Steve Nash back to back.
There you
So
go.
that's
That
one.
has happened.
But then you had So yeah, it happened.
Well,
Uh,
I think it's weird because there are a kind of a lot of narratives. There really isn't one around Jokic other than him just being like ridiculous. But I feel like Embiid has like a prove it year where everyone thinks, because the Sixers obviously are overperforming and like at the top of the East right now.
yeah.
And he's had some like signature games already.
Mhm.
And KD coming off injury, another guy that's like he's got a narrative going, and everyone's saying like he's playing even better than his MVP years. And then LeBron being 30, whatever, 36.
Yeah, 36, 37, whatever.
And he's still impressive. Like Kawhi is quietly putting together like an incredible year actually. He's at like 26, 5, 5, shooting 50, 40, 90, which is kind of incredible. And I mean Kawhi in Kawhi fashion is doing it very quietly. Um,
Yeah, I think you look at them and like, it, I guess like as stupid as it sounds, there's not enough excitement around him to win MVP.
no, probably not. And even
Uh,
Paul George, like right now, I'm looking at like the Basketball Reference
yeah,
MVP tracker. They have Kawhi at 3 and Paul George at 9. Because he's also shooting 50, 40, 90. It's ridiculous to have two guys on the same team. I mean, I figured they would kind of, coming off of the disappointing bubble, kind of show out. And so far they
improve.
have. And I think their supporting cast, surprisingly, is too. Like Nicholas Batum, like apparently can still play basketball and like hit shots when he
Yeah,
needs to.
after
Surge has
being
kind
out
of
so many
been.
years.
It's crazy because you look at their roster, right? Because it's Kawhi, 26 points a game, Paul George 23, and then Surge at 12, Marcus Morris at 11. They have 4 guys in double digits, and that's it. But then it's spread out like that second unit's all like 9 to 8 points. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, and they have some interesting young guys like Terrence Mann. I like a lot. I think he could. Obviously, right now he's like doing garbage time stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but like he's a pretty big guard, and when he's come in, he's played well. I think it was like the last game of the bubble before the playoffs. he had a huge game, and like they led them to
Yeah,
overtime, hit some big shots. Like I think he could be a pro. It's a matter of time before
yeah.
COVID hits the team, and somebody like that has to step up.
Well, it did a little bit because he played in Atlanta 34 minutes. He had 10, 9, 4 steals.
Yeah,
So I think it's cool, like in this COVID season, it gives your bench guys like a huge opportunity to show what they can do with
yeah,
extended minutes. It's kind of
I agree.
it almost is like tempting to as the team kind of. I mean, like the Celtics already play 12 deep, but like some of these teams that don't, it makes you like wonder sometimes if you start a guy like Terrence Mann and see kind of just give him a chance to prove what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, um, another guy on that team, sticking with guards, Lou Will, has kind of been quiet.
Yeah,
Same thing with like Marcus Morris hasn't played much. I know he was dealing with injury at the beginning, and both of those guys, like they can step up, but it's like they're kind of like just there.
they really are. I don't know how this team is, 16-5. When you think about it, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, they're not scoring a ton. I think it's just defense mostly. I'm looking kind of scrolling through their games. They're keeping teams, between
Yeah,
100 and 110. And, that wins you a lot of games, especially in this NBA where most teams can't defend very well.
yeah. Right now, let's see who the best.
Which is also the Jazz, too. They're defending it. They're allowing the second
Oh,
least
is
amount of
that
points
what
in
you
the
have up?
West.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
And then the Clippers are right behind them. So, I mean, that's kind of just a recipe to win in any if you're a contender. And then, I did the thing 10 minutes with Matt. Check it out. On the Knicks and Cavs, where they're 1 and 2 in the East and least amount of points allowed. And it's just like, it just gives you a better chance of winning, game to game if you can
Yeah.
defend. And I
Say the
think
thing. You know what it means.
defense wins championships.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because the Lakers are actually the top in the West. So, I mean, that's just like a culture thing, I think, at the end of the day, and just an
Yeah,
effort
it's
thing.
engraved within them.
Yeah,
Speaking of the Lakers, another team where it, like you said, defensively they're up there, um, and like I feel like LeBron is playing well,
he
right?
is.
You know what I mean? AD is playing okay. Like
Yeah, not great.
he's he's had better years, but you look at all that and you're like, okay, then who is it? And I think they're just overall they're excuse me, overall their defense is great, like you said, but the signings they made this offseason actually like paid off. I mean, like for me, I'm thinking like, they don't lose much.
No.
But Schroeder helps. Harrell helps. Gasol even.
Yeah,
And then like THT overperforming like his expectations. They also got Wesley Matthews. Like they made some signings this year that actually like oddly are helping them.
yeah. I mean,
Not oddly, because like you had to expect these guys had to step up in one way or form, but um, it's interesting because it's not like AD and LeBron are playing out of their minds, especially AD. I
yeah,
think
because
tonight it was like halfway through the third quarter and he had one rebound in 27 minutes. Like he's playing. They're playing more around the perimeter, and
yeah, he
he's
still only
not
has
playing
one
like a
rebound.
traditional. Oh yeah, see, like he's not playing like that traditional big man that he normally does. So it's a little odd, especially with I think Capella's in foul trouble tonight. Like, so who's he going up against?
Bruno.
Yeah,
I actually don't know if that's
like,
true. Maybe on Yeka. Bruno Fernando's
yeah,
been out there a little bit.
yeah. I don't even think Onyeka's played one game yet.
Yeah, he's played like a couple, but not like meaningful minutes. I don't
Yeah,
think.
John Collins, Capella. Capella was in early foul trouble, but he's still putting up good numbers today.
Hey man, you know how it goes.
Hawks are crazy.
Well, I think too. Like going into the season, think most people expected LeBron to kind of take a back seat and just kind of
Hmm.
rest his legs after the short off season and let AD kind of just go to work. And I think a lot of people actually thought like AD would be in the MVP conversation just from like a usage standpoint.
Exactly.
Um, and it's like been the complete opposite, where it's like AD's taking the back seat and LeBron's having, you know, not like a career year, but for his age and kind of what his legs have been, you know, what have been on his legs for this long. Like, it's weird. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and if right now I'm looking at like their stats from tonight, and you know, it's like I said, LeBron's got like a 12, 9, and 6. You know, flirting with a triple double, won't get there probably. And it's not a spectacular night. He's shooting 3 of 9 in 36
Yeah.
minutes. I feel like LeBron's got to be shooting more. Schroeder's got 16. He's shooting a bunch. KCP's 4 of 13.
Jesus.
He just hit double digits. He's in 11. And Davis is at 23, and like we said, only 1 rebound. And then you wonder, like, where are all the points coming from? You have, out of your starters, because Saul has 2, LeBron has 12, Schroeder 16, KCP 11, and AD 23. Granted, it's not like an extremely high-scoring game, but Harrell's coming off the bench, and in 29 minutes getting 20 and 3, and, you know, like,
It's just kind of like someone has to show up every night, and someone does, you know?
Next man up mentality. Like, somebody's gotta, and, you know, good for him.
It's working. It's like funny because it's one of those box scores where, like, if you looked at it in a vacuum and you see like John Collins has 22, Capella 16, 13, Trae Young has 16 assists, you're like, all right, the Hawks are probably winning this game by like 10.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like a 4-point game with the Lakers up. It's ridiculous. But I guess that's the kind of that's the play style they're gonna play. I mean, they're not gonna
heavy defense.
It's not gonna be like the Nets that are, you know, gonna win or lose in the 140s. Like, the Lakers are gonna grind out like 5 to 10 point wins.
Yeah. We've touched on 1 through 6. I mean, let's talk about Trailblazers. Are you surprised that they're at 7, at 10 and 8?
I mean, I think I had them higher. I had Dame as like an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I agree.
As like a dark horse. I mean, given that CJ went down,
yeah,
Nurkic went down. You know, I actually think 10 and 8's pretty good for the roster they're playing with. And I mean, they're deep. I know you and I are big Anthony Simons fans, and I think he's shown he's a capable guard.
You look at Anthony, you look at Enes Kanter, who's stepped up big, and even with Nurkic there, because Nurkic wasn't playing.
No, he really wasn't actually.
Well, and you know, then he goes down, and Kanter stepped up. And
Gary Trent too shot really well.
Yeah, he's a consistent guy off the bench. I like how he's been playing. Rodney Hood's been fairly quiet for them, but I mean,
Rocco too, like not.
Yeah, like
not great offensively, at least.
I think his season high was 13 a few weeks ago. Tonight, Nas Little's making.
I know. I'm looking at that too. Like, what is going on there?
5 of 6 from 3. Like, which obviously this has got to be career highs all around for him. But it's weird. I mean, they're getting smoked by Milwaukee right now, so he'll probably just keep getting run. But
Melo too hasn't been great.
Yeah, he moved into that bench role, starting to. You see, like, obviously he's hit the decline already, but last year you're like, oh, maybe he can still be, you know, a good bench guy for a team.
Yeah.
And he played 18 tonight, 6 and 2 on 1 of 7 shooting. Not spectacular.
Right. Well, he's not going to give you a lot if he's not scoring, you know? It's kind of like the Kemba thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, well, if he can't score, well, we'll need him to do something else. And, like, I don't know, Melo's not exactly like a liability on defense, but he's not going to, like, stop a star on the other team kind of guy.
Especially when he's guarding the 4, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He'll probably get blown through a lot of the time. One guy who I expected to... Oh, do we have a new guest?
Hey, it's your first caller.
Oh yeah,
I didn't have it up.
I was gonna say, damn, we have an echo already.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if you guys think that Zion Williamson is
a bust.
Does have like the potential to be an all-star this season.
I don't like it, Josh.
I didn't tell you my name. How did you?
Oh,
I'm just a caller. You know?
Sorry.
Caller on line 1 was your problem.
No, Josh. I don't think so. I mean, caller one. Because I did look at the potential All Stars, and Zion is probably like, I don't know, maybe 15th, 16th in line.
Very
I don't see it.
interesting.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Caller, what do you think?
Well, I think that um, it's kind of cool how like the minimum requirements for being an all star have risen so much. Because
Really
like
have.
you think back like what like 5 years ago, and there's like every once in a while there'd be like one of those all stars which who average like I can't like think of like anyone in particular that gets that, but like that average like 18 and 6 or something like that. And now Zion averages 24, 7.5, and 2.3, and shoots 58% from the field. And I mean, I do kind of agree.
On
I
a
don't
7 and
think he'll
11
be.
team,
I don't think he'll be an all star.
right?
Mhm.
I think
But
it's
like,
like,
obviously, those are all star numbers. Like,
yeah. Well, I kind of want to. I'm like thinking like maybe expand the All Star roster a little bit because it's like it's tough when you're putting up those numbers and don't get like any recognition for it.
maybe make 4 all star teams and have a mini tournament
Yeah.
on All Star Weekend.
Me and Brian were talking about that. Do like 3
Friday
teams of
night.
10 or something to make it 30 instead of
Yeah.
24 players.
And make it maybe like 36-minute games or something like that.
Yeah,
Wow, we just came up with it.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's actually a good idea. 1 game on Friday, 1 game on Saturday, and then the finals on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean,
oh my goodness.
best caller ever. You solved
Alright.
the All Star game.
All right. Yep.
But you could also argue on the flip side, like it's just the NBA is just more of an offensive minded like sport at this point, and like those numbers are inflated. And sorry Zion.
Pace has definitely risen.
Yeah, sorry Zion, and like when it comes down to it, your team's kind of ass right now. That's not helping you. So
Well, come on. Let's be nice.
goodbye,
A
Zion.
little live update. I know we were just talking about the Lakers, but LeBron, the Lakers Hawks game just got stopped because LeBron got into a fight with a woman sitting courtside, who pulled down her mask and started screaming at him, and they got into a verbal argument.
Wow,
Mhm.
LeBron's getting a lot of altercations this season.
Yeah, he really is
Uncharacteristically.
starting some drama.
Wow. He's mad that a fan of another team is like pissed off that he made a shot.
It seemed a little heated. Both of them were screaming, but
Was he
and then
saying
LeBron
like
started laughing.
is he trying to enforce like health and safety protocols?
She took down the mask to scream at him.
Who is this
So
woman?
Josh,
You
we
know?
were just talking about Matt.
No, I'm just curious like
Just a
why
random
this
blonde woman.
woman's on like the floor.
I'm talking about how Malik Monk might be the best player in the league.
Most improved from like one game to another somehow.
He's on
9
fire.
threes.
I had him some trade packages
Max
actually,
Strus.
thinking that he was gonna
Max
be
Strus is going off too.
Yeah, Max Strus, former Celtics superstar.
wow. That Heat Hornets game's kind of wild right now, huh?
Jimmy just went off. 8 straight baskets.
This is like what they hope Malik Monk would be. Is like knockdown
And-
shooter, and he just decided to do it now for some reason.
Yeah, it just sucks that it's happening here, but yeah, he just forces OT really quickly. But I mean, another team that I guess not surprising, but is the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had them like, oh, they'll be back, whatever. Draymond, again, isn't doing much. Wiseman just got hurt. He had a great start to the season, but in the last 5-10 games, he's kind of slowed down. And, Steph's been on and off. Still has amazing games, but again, slow start to the season for Steph. Then he blew up with that 60-something, tied his career high. And right now, like, they're sitting in the 8th seed at 11-9, tied with the Spurs. But obviously, they could take a big jump, especially if Kelly Oubre starts to get into more of a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. They kind of have like the hole at the big man right now with Wiseman out. Who else
Kevin
is hurt?
Looney stepping up.
Yeah, isn't Pascal out too, or someone's out for a bit?
Yeah.
So,
It's weird because actually Wiggins might be like the brightest spot right now for them. It seems
yeah,
like he's like
playing.
really enjoying himself, and they really like him there, which is cool. I mean, he's not like the flashiest player anymore, and his name I don't think carries as much weight as it used to.
Yeah.
Weird how there's been talks of Oubre for Lonzo Ball. Like I don't see how that works. I'm not sure how that fits. But if you're the Warriors, do you take that?
Josh, what do you think?
Well, I'm just thinking about like in the past, and I guess present too, with like Kelly Oubre right now. And if you're going to consider him like a small forward or a shooting guard, but either way, him and Andrew Wiggins are like switching off at those positions. But it's like this similar situation with like D'Angelo. It's like I feel like these players, Kelly Oubre too, like they're not like they might just not be right for the system. Now D'Angelo's like a little bit different than that, D'Angelo Russell, because he is like as we saw in Brooklyn, like just like a Trae Young kind of.
Right, he
Even,
can
or
get
a
hot.
Steph Curry. And I think that like Lonzo's a little bit different, but like what's Lonzo going to do? Play off ball?
Yeah, probably.
And like how is that going to work? Like Lonzo's game is like natural point guard. He's not a shooter. He's
Well, maybe you move
gotten
Curry
a little
off
bit
ball.
better.
Make Curry
don't-
run around
yeah,
screens.
And like Curry does play a lot of off ball, but I feel like Curry wouldn't be okay to like giving Lonzo Ball the point guard privileges, especially with how Steph Curry is such like he's off ball, but he also pulls up, he drives. Like, I mean, no, Lonzo just wouldn't fit there.
Yeah, they
already
think
have
he will.
Brad Wanamaker, mean Brad.
That's true. Although I don't, how many minutes do you think Wanamaker's played with Curry?
I would say
Like
2.
6. Yeah. I didn't think about if you move Curry off ball and off Lonzo Ball. It could. I don't mind that actually. I think that could just like add a little wrinkle instead of trying to set all these ball screens for
And
Steph.
can I say something funny about Lonzo?
Please.
I feel like people have been talking like this season, like, oh, like Lonzo found his shot, and he's got like the shot doctor. I'm looking right now to stats. I haven't looked at them in a little while actually.
Mm-hmm.
He averaged 37.5% from 3 last year.
That's
So
pretty
far,
solid, honestly.
he's averaging 32% this year,
Yeah.
I think
which
the
is worse
argument
than
more
2
that he
years
just-
ago.
I think it's just that his shot looks better. But again, and he's shooting a little bit more.
Right.
I think he's making more threes this year than he has in the past. But like you said, like,
yeah, I mean 0.1 more, but yeah.
Well, Josh, you talked about Zion. Now we're on Lonzo. This Pelicans team has been like such a weird. They kind of started out hot. They were in the playoff kind of race, and now are literally at the bottom of the West. And I don't think a lot of people can really like make like heads and tails of this squad right now because of Steven Adams and Zion are both kind of like paint cloggers. So on offense, it doesn't make any sense because Lonzo and Bledsoe can't space the floor, and like Zion's not playing defense.
Yeah, it might be turning into one of those 76ers from like last year situations because they don't have any shooters.
No.
Maybe they really need to start JJ Redick, but now they want to trade him apparently. I mean, I think that the Pelicans are still a good team. I don't think that they're a great
Very
team,
talented.
but yeah, definitely talented. I think that it's. I mean, like look at the whole league. Really, there's some like ridiculous teams that are playing well, good teams that are playing poorly. Like the Heat. The Heat are about to lose to the Hornets and be like 7-12 or something like that. 7-13.
Yep.
And it's like what we talk about a lot on the podcast. Like this is a shortened season. 10 games doesn't seem like a lot, but like I mean, now they played 20 games, and that's like 30, like around, like probably like 28 to 30% of the whole season. And you're
Yeah.
7-14, or 7-13, and for like the Pelicans, it's a close game right now. They might end up being 7-12, and it's like when you fall behind like that, I feel like the playoff push at the end of the year is going to be like a lot harder. But I think that with all the talent that they have, I obviously don't know their schedule right now, but off the top of my head, but I think that all it takes is like a run, and like what it's so like the standings are so close right now, so
Mhm.
you just make a run, 5-6 game winning streak, and like boom, you're in the playoffs. Like the Grizzlies, they were 2-6, won 6 in a row, now they're the 5 seed.
And it's like you said, Josh. A 10 game difference on the season is a huge difference because a win streak, even a hot streak for one player, like can determine like a really good stretch of time for them. And that 10 games like is it's a 10 game streak that a team is missing. A 10 game hot streak a player rides. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see
It's
anyone on that
interesting.
Pelicans roster to be that guy though?
I see. I mean, we've seen Brandon Ingram be that guy. Like we have.
Catch
Like,
fire.
Yeah, catch fire, take the game-winning shots, make the game-winning shots. Like we've seen it, and like I think that he's a good player. I think that obviously he had like a very, very, very good year last year, and it would be hard to like ask him to replicate it. But he's doing pretty well with it. His rebounds are down, assists are a little bit up, scoring's a little bit down, but I think that they have like the pieces around it. I think that not necessarily to the Warriors, but I think that trading Lonzo might be a good idea. I'm a Lonzo fan. I don't think
Well, they're not
that,
going to extend him, so
yeah. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think that maybe that's the right. And it's also one of those things where like a player like him is also like a dying breed in the NBA. We were talking about DeMar DeRozan's play type, and now it's like this. It's like Lonzo Ball is. He doesn't even like. He's like a pass first player that doesn't even get that many assists. So it's. He's in a
Yeah.
he's in a weird spot.
he
But
can
maybe
defend though, which I think gives him a lot of value,
that's true. That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah, maybe you get
especially at the point guard.
get someone for him and JJ Redick. You already have Eric Bledsoe, who's honestly, he's playing pretty well.
It's weird, right when those trade rumors came out, Lonzo and Bledsoe like kind of showed out
Yeah.
Yeah.
like suspiciously. I'm not sure what that's
I
about.
mean, Eric Bledsoe though, like for what it's worth, for what his role is on that team, he's playing like very well. I'm looking right now, 14, 3.8, 3.7, and 40% from 3. Like, that's about as good as you would ask from him at the beginning of the season when he's literally going to be like at best third option.
Well, and this team could put together like a decent package for a third star if you go Bledsoe, Ball, Redick. You throw in, they have a ton of picks from the Laker deal. Even if you wanted to throw in like Jackson Hayes, Josh Hart, Alexander Walker showed that he can score like a ton when given the opportunity. Because they have
they
guys
do
that
have a
can
lot.
match
They
the
do have a
salary of
lot.
a star. Because Redick is double digits,
Yeah.
Lonzo's 11. Even if they wanted to deal Steven Adams, I know they just signed him, but obviously he's not a guy that can score outside of the paint. And if you wanted to give Zion and like Ingram a little more space on the offensive side of the ball, I could see that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still Kemba for Steven Adams and Lonzo. Still on the table.
I just don't really. I just don't see how that really helps. Maybe that would help the Pelicans. Steven Adams is obviously a great player. I don't know how much he would help the Celtics. I don't think that actually he would help the Celtics a lot.
I think he would.
So honestly, that could be a good trade.
Okay.
I don't
How
know.
about,
I don't know if the Pelicans would really want that though. To be honest.
You don't think?
I think that Kemba would actually help them. I think that would be a great player to have for them. I just don't know if they know that. if they know as much as I know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, you probably know more than the Pelicans front office.
Yep.
What if you did like Lonzo for Derrick Rose?
Lonzo for Derrick Rose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see how that really helps either team, and we already know that the Ball family has some
History
issues with Detroit, so I just don't see how that would work out. I mean, Derrick Rose, I mean, I hate to say it, I'm not a Derrick Rose hater, and everyone always says in like those Instagram comments, no Derrick Rose slander, but like he's not great.
Yeah.
He's like a decent offensive player. He doesn't do anything else. And like last year, I remember people were like asking for him to be like an all-star, averaging 18 and 5. Like, come on.
Nah, it's a little ridiculous. It's all narrative, bro.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like, good guy.
I mean, everything's narrative.
All right, I'll throw you another one. Lonzo and Steven Adams for Kyle Lowry and Norman Powell.
No way would the Raptors do that. Would
You
they?
don't
Do you think they would?
They would betray Kyle Lowry?
Yeah,
No.
exactly. That's the only reason I think that. I think
Fuck
that like
Kyle
that would
Lowry,
be. I think
bro.
that would be a good trade for both teams actually, but I don't think that the Raptors would do that. No way they would do that actually.
I think that, I don't know. Kyle Lowry's he's growing tired with me, man. Not a fan. Even though I find myself rooting for the Raptors because I invested in them and they're doing terribly. But they have a need for a big man. I feel like Lonzo could be. I mean, he's more size than Kyle Lowry. You put Fred VanVleet at the point. I don't know. I think that could help both teams. But you're probably right. They're not going to trade Lowry. Him and Nick Nurse are like too much buddy.
Even though I will say the Raptors are one of those teams that are like in a very weird spot right now with
They are.
Kyle Lowry, who's like old, and they have like young talent, but like they're clearly not in like championship contention.
When he's on a contract year, like Kyle Lowry's gonna be a free agent. Maybe they do, bro. If they're willing to trade DeMar, obviously for Kawhi, like that's like,
yeah, but you
no
did win
doubter.
a championship with Kyle Lowry. I feel like it's might be a little bit different, especially since Kyle Lowry.
You didn't win a championship with Kyle Lowry, though. Let's be honest. You won a championship with Kawhi.
I mean, that's true, but Kyle Lowry's like he's gonna be 35 by the end of this year.
Get him out,
And-
dude.
No, but maybe they're like being like nice and they're gonna sign him to like a smaller contract. But at the same time, will Kyle Lowry take a smaller contract? I mean, he still shows that he can play. He's
Yeah,
having a
actually,
good
his
year right
numbers
now.
actually are pretty good.
17, 7, and 6. 6 rebounds, by the way, for him is like pretty impressive.
Really is. He's
6
like
feet tall is what they list him at. That's ridiculous, actually. I didn't even know that he was averaging that many.
yeah, because they have no big men. So
Yeah, I mean that's true. They do play with OG and Fred VanVleet, and
yeah,
what are the heights on them? 6'1" for Fred VanVleet, who's averaging also 4.5 rebounds.
yeah, like
and
it doesn't make any sense. Toronto.
OG is, OG is tall. Sorry to all the, but he's averaging
Not cool, bro.
6, almost over a
Yeah.
little bit under 6.
Anyone else in the West we want to talk about? I mean, Dallas is a surprise in the opposite way. I think OKC, like, yeah, whatever. They're like better than we thought.
Well, I think that with the trade that just happened, we can talk about the Rockets
Sure.
and like their future. And I think that, I mean, I don't know all the contracts exactly, but I mean, their team is looking like pretty good in the for the future. Didn't we already talk about the Rockets actually?
We did a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember talking about like Jay Sean Tate for a second.
Yeah. They're kind of deep.
Yeah, but I think that like and Brian was talking about like PJ Tucker and that. I think that just to end to put like a little ending thought on that is like they have the picks. I think that like in the next 2 years, that is a great situation. It's like better than the Thunder because like the Rockets like have veterans that are like that have been very good. So I think that like in the next 2 years they can be back in like top 5, top 6 in the West.
Ooh. They could be. I could see them being top 5, top 6 this year.
You can quote me in 2 years on the Baller Scholar podcast for the 2022-2023 NBA season.
Dude, they might. I think I could see them making a playoff run like this year.
No, I agree. I agree with that, but I don't think they're like that good. I agree that I think that they can make that push. I mean their big three is like a legitimate big three: Christian Wood, John Wall, Victor Oladipo. Like
Mm-hmm.
they at the end of the first quarter today in the game against
OKC,
sorry
right?
for yeah OKC, they had 28 of the 31 points,
Yeah, they're legit.
or with a minute left before they all got subbed out. They had 28 points out of the 31.
And you look at Eric Gordon, DeMarcus. I mean, they have a great mix of like young, old, all tough guys. All guys gonna play defense, gonna rebound.
Yeah.
I like what they got going on. You know, they got Harden out of there, and it's just like a total cultural, just like overhaul in that locker room.
I keep forgetting about Christian Wood. So, like, I'm like, oh, damn, big three, DeMarcus Cousins? I'm like, really? And then I'm like, oh, shit, yeah.
I think Christian Wood's an all-star.
DeMarcus
Yeah.
Cousins is one of those things like Lonzo's shooting percentage, where it's like Bleacher Report every time they talk about the Rockets is like, oh, DeMarcus Cousins, like don't forget about like that team. Like DeMarcus Cousins is great. He plays 17 minutes a game,
Yeah, he has, like, a good game every 3.
but like that was only because Christian Wood was out. Like nowadays he plays when
Exactly.
Christian Wood's not playing. I mean when Christian Wood's playing, he plays like 12 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, he had a good stretch there when Wood was out, but
Which makes me wonder why they don't play him. I don't really get it. Why don't they start him? Why isn't that their starting lineup? I feel like that'd be sick.
yeah,
I think
Give
once
that
they
second unit
deal
some-
PJ, yeah.
No, but like yeah, maybe once they deal PJ, but I feel like John Wall, Oladipo, you don't have to talk about like Jay Sean Tate because he's like nothing special yet, but John Wall, Oladipo, Cousins, Christian Wood, like that sounds like an unstoppable team. Honestly, it
Yeah.
really does. And like it makes me think back to when the Pelicans
yeah,
had DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis, and they were starting both of them, and they dominated. They both went off like every game.
yeah. I mean, it could be something like that if DeMarcus goes off every game.
I don't think that they're gonna do it though, but like I think that they should do it. I think
Yeah,
it'd be awesome. But
That's right. They hadn't thought about it. They definitely should.
Yeah, I should be the front office guy for all these teams.
You just make trades with yourself, representing
But
different
all I'm
teams.
saying is like even when he was on the Warriors, like I'm looking right now, he played 26 minutes a game.
Yeah,
I know he's coming back from like an injury, but I don't think that that's why they're not playing him.
yeah. I don't know. I think you put him on your second unit because he's a high usage guy. And
Well,
you say,
you
all right,
can-
DeMarcus, you take your 10 to 12 shots in the second quarter.
You can always use him as
Yeah.
like one of those like 6-minute starters, and then take him out for 3 minutes, put him in with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, leave him in until like there's 9 minutes in the second. You know, just keep playing him for 6-minute spurts,
Yeah, you could. I agree. I think you should play more than 20 minutes.
kind of like Taco Fall.
Yeah, that's what they should
Oh,
do.
God.
Kind of what they should do.
Let's talk
little
about a
bit.
team that's underperforming in the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
You have a very frustrated Luka in Dallas right now. Understandably so. But, like,
Yeah.
why?
I think I was just watching, they're playing the Suns on NBA TV earlier, and they were just talking about how, like, their offense is just stagnant. It's reminiscent of James Harden on the Rockets, where it's like you have 4 guys standing around watching Luka trying to make something happen every possession, and they just don't have another, like, primary ball handler that can, like, make plays. I mean, they have Trey Burke and, like, Brunson who can, like, run the offense, but is not, like, a shot creator. I don't know. I think and Kristaps isn't playing great. I mean, he's shooting pretty terribly. As a whole, their team is shooting like historically bad.
He's only been back for, like, a week now, no?
I think a little longer than that.
Yeah.
He's played 9 games.
Okay, yeah. So he's been back for a couple weeks now, and since he's been back, like, nothing spectacular, like you said.
So I think they definitely need a boost from him. Hardaway's just like streaky as hell. They've had a lot of COVID stuff, like Maxi Kleber and Finney Smith have been out. Richardson's been out. So that takes away a lot of their depth. So, NL West, that's so competitive. you can lose a couple of games just based on not having your guys, even if you have Luka. But I mean, looking at the roster going into the season, I was really concerned, and it was part of my argument that Luka should be like a MVP candidate. When you look at his supporting cast, is probably worse than anyone else in that conversation.
I think.
Well, don't you think that maybe like Jokic's supporting cast might be a little worse?
No,
because at least
absolutely not.
I think that he still has like names, like he still has players that are
Names
like,
mean nothing to me.
Like who does Jokic have? Jokic has Jamal Murray, who's like way overrated. Gary Harris, Paul Millsap. I think that like he still has. I mean, Kristaps came back like recently, but he still has Kristaps, Tim Hardaway, Josh Richardson, Willie Cauley-Stein. Like
the way you're saying those names, you should be saying them the way you said the Denver Nuggets.
Okay, I'll say that Paul Millsap, Gary Harris. They're trash players. They're literally trash players.
They're not trash players.
And don't get me wrong, I will say that the players I named aren't like that much better. I mean that.
Well, but
yeah, sorry. That
Jamal
much better,
Murray
but,
is another like ball handler guy that can like run an offense and score, and Luka doesn't have that.
Nah, yeah, I was gonna say I think the Nuggets Lakers.
Well, I think that it's the fact that. Sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Will Barton too. Michael Porter.
I think that
Michael Porter.
It's a different thing though, where it's like Jokic doesn't like I might be losing my train of thought here, but like Jokic doesn't like have to bring the ball up.
Well, he doesn't usually.
He's just a beast.
He's a beast.
And I think that Josh Richardson is a beast.
Right. But okay, think about it this way: if you switched Jokic,
but is he not in the? Isn't like Luka still like the favorite or something?
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask.
Well, like Vegas.
He's really not.
Which wouldn't be right.
Great. And like he's not in like
he's never
Basketball
really
Reference doesn't have him top 10.
Yeah, but Basketball Reference has Mike Conley top 10, so I don't know if we can trust it.
Well, Mike Conley's actually plus minus is about like 100 better than anyone else in the league.
No, it's definitely.
That's
mean, that's the thing. Like Mike Conley's obviously not an MVP contender, but he's putting up some numbers in some categories that are MVP cat numbers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is impressive for Mike Conley. Don't get me wrong. Like that's good for him, but he's obviously not an MVP contender.
Yeah. Maybe.
Same with Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. Well, Luka's just numbers are down. Shooting like 3-point is down.
Yeah.
2 points down a little bit. I don't know. I think they're just in a funk, and just like no one. I think this team might be in the most dire need of like a roster shakeup a little bit.
I think they should trade for Bradley Beal.
Ooh. Let's see if I have a offer from them for him. I don't.
Guys, I have to leave.
Okay.
But
thank you, caller.
Yeah, this is like the longest conversation between caller and a radio.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, bust some chops. All right.
Right on. Thanks,
talk to you
Josh.
guys later. Yep.
The Echo Man. Maybe not.
That's new nickname, the Echo Man.
Kind of like that, actually. Let's see. I don't have a Dallas for Beal. I think you'd have to have a lot of picks.
Let's get to the machine.
James Johnson for some reason is getting paid $16 million.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it was one of those deals where you sign someone that's to fill out your money, so you don't have to pay the excess tax or whatever.
There's just like no one on this team. It's a problem. I mean, it's a terrible supporting cast. So, like, there's no one that the Wizards would want, I don't think, other than just take like Hardaway and Johnson on expiring to free up cap space.
So you can trade Willie Cauley-Stein in 4 days. I think it's a very valuable contract, and they need a big man. I think you could trade Willie Cauley. I know I can't put him in there right now, but I'll put someone of equal value in Dorian Finney-Smith. God, it doesn't work out perfectly. But yeah, whatever. We'll put in Dorian. We'll put in Beal. We'll do, even though Dorian's actually Willie. I might let's throw in James Johnson. We'll throw in Brunson. And then a pick. Let's see if this works. This trade failed. Mavericks are over luxury. Okay, so we just need one more guy. Adjust trade.
Yeah.
So, what if he did Hardaway, James Johnson, Willie Cauley-Stein, and Brunson? Does this work? Oh, trade failed because Wizards are over.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance. Go like, yeah, you could do maybe Dwight Powell instead of Johnson. I don't know why Dwight Powell is on that kind of deal. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's fine.
And then, so would you be giving them two big men in Willie Cauley and Dwight Powell?
Yeah.
That would leave you with
Boban.
only and Kristaps.
I don't mind that.
Let's see.
If you keep James Johnson, he's got some size.
What if you kept Willie? Would you trade Finney-Smith, Hardaway, Dwight Powell, and picks for Beal?
Yeah. I
It
mean,
works.
I think Beal, there's a huge market for him, and I don't know if the Mavs can compete with some of the offers they're going to get.
No, I agree. I
think they do need. I like your suggestion, maybe DeMar, because he's a B grade, lower priced Beal, which is But I think just to shake this roster up a little bit and get
help out Luka.
Yeah, because Kristaps isn't going to be like a ball handler,
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting team, but like I said, with teams like the Thunder and the Kings and let's even say the Spurs and the Grizzlies playing better than people would expect, you kind of have to think, and you would think that they would fall as time goes on, and a team like the Mavs would get hot at one point or another or make a move to get hot.
Well, the shooting will come, I think, too. Like they've shot really bad. So.
Yeah, and then move up. Another team that's crazy low is the Timberwolves. I don't know if that was, too many people were like, oh, this team's going to flourish. I know I had them at 12 in my rankings. Or no, you had them at 12, my fault. Josh had them at 14. I had them at 11. So maybe I had them at the highest. Scott had them at 14. So when you look at it, they're do you think they're underperforming?
Like, yeah, it's kind of like with Warriors or Blazers or stuff where, with the context of Cat being out for pretty much the entire season, D'Lo's had injuries. Like, I'm not surprised. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cat's played 4 games.
Yeah, it's they're obviously not at full strength, but even at full strength, how much higher would they be?
Yeah, probably. I think they probably win 3 or 4 more games, maybe.
Which would put them at 10 or 11, which would put the Pelicans, like we said, at last place.
Yeah,
say we sit, you know what I mean? So Pelicans, not playing as well. Like Zion hasn't been as exciting. Malik Beasley's played well for the Timberwolves, but
he actually has, yeah.
They're like past signings, like Jake Layman, some of their other picks. I mean, Ricky hasn't been playing great. Culver has been very streaky. Nas Reed, has been playing all right. Vanderbilt's been playing all right. But Edwards has been streaky. I mean, but he's playing well. But again, when he's off, he's off. So it's just not a great team. It looks cool on paper. But when it boils down to numbers and how they actually play together, and if they get to play together, they're not amazing.
It's not happening. I think it's just a culture thing too. Like, I don't know, Minnesota just can't figure out a way to develop talent.
From the looks of it, it seems like they're very poorly run.
Because like Cat can be a generational talent.
Mm-hmm. He could be a superstar.
Yeah.
But he, I don't know. It's like the way that like KG talks about it, because KG is always contemplating buying them. It seems like they just don't have the right culture out there, and they never have, and as of right now, they never will.
Yeah, I don't like. I think, and they gave up their pick for D'Lo, so they don't even have
Yeah.
that for this upcoming draft.
And the Warriors get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good.
That's
Um,
good for the Warriors, though.
for real. At this point, I don't even know what you do. Would you consider trading Cat?
Oh, God. Who's even in the market for Cat?
Well,
Like,
there's a lot of teams
obviously
that need
teams-
for a big man, but if he can't stay healthy, that's not helping anyone.
Obviously, people want a guy like Cat, but do you like who's gonna give up that much for a guy who like is good, but not always healthy, but and also like, do you wonder if it's Minnesota that's not helping him grow, or it's him that's not helping himself?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's hard to say. I mean, I think he could benefit from a, change of scenery, but
Yeah, I mean, but for the West, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. We didn't really get to talk about the Thunder or Kings, but I don't know. I don't think there's much to talk about with either team. What do you think?
no, not really. I mean, OKC, another one of those teams that just shrinks games and I mean, they get blown out a lot, but if they're competitive, I mean, they've won a couple of close ones. And
I
Sacramento
I
can't
can't
defend
see them.
anybody. So,
Yeah, I can't see either of those teams making it to the playoffs. But also right now, I think I think the Thunder might be overperforming. But I
oh
think
yeah,
the Kings are right where they should be. And it's not like the Thunder are like significantly overperforming. I just like you said, I think they only missed a couple of games with the COVID bug. Al Horford's been out for a while with personal things. They're not anything to worry about.
no, probably not. But not an easy win.
No, they
Neither team is.
definitely. Yeah, I think both teams. I mean, if the Kings are hot and shoot well, like, hey, they could challenge you, and if the Thunder lock you up and play with that like young, like gritty determination that they have in the past, like,
Yeah,
they could also challenge you. But then again, both teams are susceptible to blowouts every night.
yeah. I mean, I think it's proven just over the course of this season, like nothing's a gimme. Like you can't count on just like
Yeah,
walking
this
into a
this
gym and just blowing a team
the
out. Like it's not happening.
the results after these games have been super sporadic this season, and I mean, you take like, for example, you take like the Nets games right now. Obviously, they can't defend, but you think offensively they would be able to torch everyone, and that hasn't
Yeah,
been the case.
look like has been where they're torching everyone on offense.
Yeah, but then getting rocked on defense.
Yeah,
But
it's
then you
actually
look at the
ridiculous.
Cavs. It's a team where like everyone's like, we're going to Cleveland, easy win, and
Not
Cleveland's been
so
playing
fast.
super well. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome. Kind of like it.
Yeah, you're invested in them.
Well, I sold them actually to switch for the Knicks, who lost tonight. So great
I,
investments.
I've been thinking
Happening.
about buying and selling, but I just it's not nothing scream.
I should just not tell anyone and then undo what I do. You know.
Not, you could.
I also sold the Grizzlies and bought the Rockets.
Where are they at right now? How much are the Rockets? They're at 35.
Yep.
Who would I have to sell to get there?
I think you have the Grizzlies too. They both won tonight, so there's that.
Yeah, I know. I could sell the Grizzlies, Timberwolves, and then go for Rockets. And how much are the Timberwolves? That would give me 25. Let's see. Where are we at? Who's a 25er?
You're gonna have to go like Pistons, Wizards,
Yeah,
something like that.
maybe the Wizards.
I think we actually don't. I think we all have stock in the Wizards.
Oh, do I have them already? Yeah, I'm dumb. I do. Fucking
Hey,
Wizards.
all of us, man. We saw that they were. I think,
We're in it together.
yeah, and we're just gonna have to ride it out because I don't think anyone's cutting their losses.
After last night's game, maybe they did it, you know?
I wouldn't be surprised actually. I mean, if Russ is
If
back
they,
healthy, I mean, I don't think anyone really considered that he was playing hurt, and now it
No,
seems
and
like a revelation for some reason.
And Brad's still playing out of his mind.
Yeah. So hopefully they can get. I mean, they play the Nets. If they can defend, a regular team a little bit better than that, I think they give themselves a shot. Still have like no size. Ruiz not been playing great. Denny's not great. Bertans is like they had like Bertans on KD, bro. It's like that's not gonna happen. So,
Whatever, it worked.
Also, just that last play where Rui just left TLC wide open on the block.
Yeah,
It's not exactly encouraging, but
Garrison steals the ball.
Garrison is actually, I like him a lot. He's good.
You just like him because he has his last name is your first.
Yeah, and his first name's Garrison. What is that? Isn't that
Matt,
where you keep troops?
Is
Like
that?
Garrison?
I don't know.
Maybe that's where you keep ammo. I forget.
Let's see.
It's
What is
such a
it?
white name.
Garrison. It's troops stationed in a fortress or township.
That looks like the kind of guy that would be named after a troop house. You know?
You just listened to another episode of the Baller Scholar podcast.